Everyone. Today we're going to talk about honey. It has been in the news. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about honey based on some government officials who have said some incorrect things. So I'm going to break it down and let's look at what we're actually eating when we buy our honey. My name is Amy. I'm a food educator, author, and speaker. And a lot of my knowledge comes from my own experience with allergies and doctors not listening to what I had to say. So I had to do my own research. And because I'm a historian and business analyst by trade, I really dug into the peer-reviewed research. So that's where a lot of my book and a lot of the information I come at you with is from. So please note, I'm not a medical professional, but I am a very well-informed consumer, and I want to pass that knowledge on to other consumers. So let's just get into this. If you do like the video, like what I'm saying, please engage, share, like, comment. I really appreciate even the trolls. Thank you for upping my engagement. Um, so here we go. Let's start with the first thing is we need to talk about organic. And the reason I want to bring this up is almost every label I'm going to show you today talks about organic, and we really need to have a really good understanding of what that means. So before I dig all the way into that, I'm going to share a link of where you can find this information on the USDA website. This page was published in 2014. So this is, and the page does not have any notes saying that it's been updated recently. So I'm still going with that. This page is going to be a decent resource, and this does govern the laws around how food and beverage companies can market within our country. So go visit this, the organic law, and this page again was published in 2014. So let's jump in. If you don't want to just jump there, I'm going to just start sharing some links, sharing the information. There's going to be so much here. There are three categories of organic within the United States, right? We've got 100% organic, which is popping up on the screen here. But this is a category that has to be certified organic, and all ingredients used have to be certified organic to make that organic product. Now, even if there's additives, and we're going to get to at the end of the video, we'll talk about the additives in honey and what are some of the things we should be looking for, hidden ingredients, do also need to be based on organic. So that's the first big one. And if you look at packaging, it doesn't always say USDA organic. It'll say 100% organic. It might just say organic. And organic, and I'm going to read it off the side screen here, says it's an agricultural product in the organic category. So it must contain no less than 95% of certified organic ingredients, excluding salt and water. Salt and water do not have to be organic. And that's because if you look into the laws around salt, sugar, baking powder, and baking soda are all 5 to 10% cornstarch. And typically the corn used in those are not, they are not organic. And that's all in my book, The Hidden Consumer. So check it out. It's one of the big areas of learning I had with my own allergy. It does not have to be listed on the labels because according to the food world, when you add 5 to 10% cornstarch, it's not meant for ingestion. It's just to keep the product from clumping. However, it's mixed in with the product, so you're going to be eating it anyways. Now, unless you're like me, you're probably not going to notice it, but you should be aware of what the hidden ingredients are in your food. All right, and then made with organic is the third category. This is a multi-ingredient agricultural product that is made with and can contain at least 70% organic ingredients, again, excluding salt and water. And any remaining agricultural products are not required to be organically produced. So made with organic means it's at least 70% organic. 30% can be anything, okay? So those are some key terms we should really know as we go through this because you're going to see them a lot on honey labels. Well, actually, one in particular you'll see a lot on honey labels. So let's break this down. What I did is I'm like the easiest way to talk to people about ingredients and labels is really to jump right into let's look at a label and look at what it says. So what I did is I did a Google search. The exact wording is what is the most bought brand of honey in the United States? And then I jumped from there. So let's look at the first, oh my stuff has disappeared again. Apparently my system cannot handle all the notes I put in to my nature's, there it is. Okay, so here we're going to start here. Show. This is Nature Nates. This is a major player, as you can see on the screen. It's known for pure, raw, and organic honey. Notice how it doesn't say 100% organic honey. So that, remember, there's that difference between 100% organic and just organic. They're just organic. So this is a squeeze bottle. It's raw. It's unfiltered. The ingredients are honey. And then I did look up the hot honey ingredients because they do have a different, like a hot sauce. And I'm going to drop that link in here too. I know I have so many links for you guys today. So you can check out Nature Nate's honey. There we go. For me, I would never, none of the honey I'm showing you is honey I use. And I will explain that in a second. But regular honey versus flavored honey, there's always going to be a difference in ingredients. And this is the beginning of a good example. Their hot honey is honey, white vinegar, and habanero chili. I don't have a whole lot of information on the habanero chili. From what I can see, it's habanero chili pepper flakes. So for me, that says additional processing. And when you have additional processing, you're going to have additional hidden ingredients that don't have to be reported. So that's where that came from. I'm allergic to all vinegars, including apple cider and all those other non-white vinegars start with a base of white vinegar, or they can add white vinegar to make the vinegar better. So there's literally I haven't had vinegar in my diet, so no pickles. And I used to love pickles. So fun. We are going to turn this one off. So Nature Nates was actually not bad. That is not where I wanted to go right now, but that's great. Nature's Nate is not a bad brand. They only have a few. You can tell that they're a brand that focuses on quality, and it's quality based on the bare minimums required by USDA, but they are focused on very specific things that they want to bottle and how they're doing it. So they do have the Manuka honey, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It is this very specific honey special to New Zealand. And it is a source by a monoflora, meaning only one type of flower. And it is genuine Manuka, and it is sourced and bottled in New Zealand. It is the only location source for authentic Manuka. If I am pronouncing that wrong, I hope someone. But so that tells me, if you look over what Nature Nates is doing, they do have a little bit, they do understand enough about the industry they're in that they're trying to be the next best product and really provide a better honey for their consumers to enjoy. So, and all the honey prices I saw were roughly within the same price range, with the exception of Great Value, which I will look at Walmart brands here at the very end. So Nature Nate's not a bad brand. The next one that I looked at was Kirkland. And Kirkland, because not everything is showing up here, Costco, right? Costco. They do have a significant force in bulk. It says right here. I looked at their wildflower and their organic raw. It was the only two honeys that they have. Again, they're very specific. What I liked about Kirkland was that both brands are kosher. And what that tells me as someone with allergies is that when you get even like the basic kosher, because kosher has multiple levels depending on how based on your level of observance, right? So basic kosher, there's not going to be a lot of hidden ingredients in this one, because that then takes away from it the ability of it to be kosher. And I know that based on their rules and regulations around kosher, that there is a rabbi that has to be present and has to observe. So there's a lot of little things and details that go into making something kosher. That means if this had a safe bottle that it was in, I would potentially try it. This is one that it would be a risk, but I would still try it. Not all kosher is safe for me because it depends, again, on that level of observance for their ingredients. But all the honeys were grade A honey and 100% grade A USDA organic honey. So this is one better, and this is just their organic raw honey, one step better than the Nature's Nate honey that we were looking at, right? Because none of Nature's Nate said that they had the certification to be 100% grade A USDA organic. All right, that is Kirkland's. So then the next one I looked at is Amazon Fresh Delivery. I'm like, okay, I got it. You know, whatever he was talking about we're buying fake food and honey is fake. Amazon and Walmart were going to be my ringers. I knew for sure they're doing no, no, no. Once again, Amazon proved me wrong. They do have 100% pure honey with no added ingredients. This concerns me. It doesn't say USDA on it, so it's not does not fall under USDA right USDA organic. So this is why they're not using 100% organic. So would I try this one? No, no, no. There's no way. And as long as you're not claiming organic, there is leeway on what you can add. So and obviously I don't trust, I'm very specific about marketing and how it's done, and this is a brand that's really intended to make you buy it and feel really good about what you're buying, not necessarily that it's gonna be, really the best choice if that's what you're looking for. It's still a choice, absolutely. And if you are trying it and you're still eating organic raw honey, or if you're still trying to find raw honey, kudos to you. Not everything in our world has to be organic. It's just a level of security to know you're actually getting what you think you are. And that there's still not enough security blankets like that. Because I can tell you, there's still a lot of interesting things out in this world when it comes to marketing. Okay, so private labels. So because the private label brand was the fourth largest seller, and this falls into like the Whole Foods, which is one of the reasons I looked at Amazon Fresh Grocers, Organic 365. This is why I pulled up Trader Joe's and I pulled up Walmart. Trader Joe's is like one of those things. I know a lot of people shop there. I'm always hoping for the best, that I'm going to find some really great things, and I'm going to find something. I haven't been able to buy food at a Trader Joe's in over a decade. So for me, it's a no-go, but most grocery stores are. They, what I can tell you is their honeys, they don't have USDA organic certification on them. They do have a multi-floral and clover honey, which is also kosher. So, and it's just basic honey. That's all that's in it. 100% honey, kosher honey. And because I like to see what does the flavors do, because when you add flavors, you always add ingredients. So the spicy honey sauce, so it's not quite honey, but it was a spicy sauce, spicy honey sauce. What impressed me was it only had three listed ingredients. This is unfortunately is also a great example of how just because it has three ingredients doesn't mean it's you know exactly what you're getting. So their honey sauce has honey, distilled white vinegar, and natural flavors, which if you read the book, there's no such thing as natural and natural flavors. These are where all the ingredients they don't want you to know they put into your product are hidden. So, and legally they are allowed to. So that's not like they're doing anything illegal. That's not the case. But there are ingredients like high fructose corn syrup, which many people know has health effects for them, that's where it's hidden. So you don't see HCFS on products anymore unless a company is being extremely upfront with what they put into their product. But you could technically hide it in natural flavors. Does it mean it's in here? Nope. You don't know what it is because it's just natural flavors, which is where my beef with natural flavors comes in. Okay. And we'll be talking about beef in a few weeks too. So just a heads up. The other one I want to talk to you about then is, because I looked at, it didn't shop. It was in the last one, but it didn't pop up, is Walmart. I looked at the Great Value Honey. Like Trader Joe's, they do not have a USDA certification. The difference with Trader Joe's and Great Value Honey is Trader Joe's did have one kosher honey that I saw on their online. I don't go into the stores. I'm shopping online. Walmart, they had their ingredients are filtered honey, so they're not raw, they're not organic. It's just a filtered honey. They have a Great Value raw honey, which is all raw honey, and then they had Fisher's honey, which is raw honey as well. And I picked those three. When I go into grocery store websites, I look for the best sellers, and that's what I pull up first. So I know that I'm going to maybe get a majority of people who watch to give you something that's relevant to what you're putting on your table. So what did this tell us? that the crap that's being spread about honey online from the government just isn't true. And it's really easy to look at the back of an ingredient label to find that out. So look at if you have a honey label that actually says, and you can tell me where you purchased it and all that good stuff. I would love to see a honey label that is not actual honey. Um, because I can tell you in the decade of me learning about food, and that has never been the issue for me. The bigger issue is that the bottles, everything I looked at, I think except one, was plastic. Now, again, if you read the book, if you read the book, you know that I have issues with plastic bottles. Um, Food grade plastics are slowly decaying while product is in it. So one of the possible reasons we're seeing such a high level of plastics in the human body is because all of those microplastics, as they break down, they get to a point where they can't break down and you're still left with a particle. And those are the particles we're ingesting because they're not breaking down within the food or anywhere else. So this is why plastics aren't just something that we need to be concerned about for the environment, but we need to be concerned about that for our own health. On top of all the other things they're putting in our food, we do need to be concerned about what we're buying those products in. The flip side to all of this, where do I get my honey? I get my honey from a farmer's market. And I know that the farmer I buy from is the beekeeper. And that is very relevant to me because there are some climates where beekeepers feed dextro discs, which can be considered organic dextrose, to their bees. There's a few issues. My issue with it is dextrose is liquid moldy corn sugar, and then the disc, again, that you're feeding the honeybees this dextrose, which is a lab created organic, it is legally allowed to be called organic. I have a beef with it, and that's just because of my allergies. But the other side of this is there's a higher risk of bee infections, bee illness, killing off the hives because of that lab created sugar, right? Just like the human body, lab created sugars aren't great for us. And we know that dextrose is one of those key ingredients in ultra processed foods. So those foods that are causing chronic illness, chronic inflammation, obesity. We're looking at increased chances of diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease. All these diseases come really, and we've had a lot of those hidden sugars made in a lab that are in our foods. So that is going to be one of those other issues that are going to be hidden in your honey, even if you buy from a farmer. So I always have to make sure I go that extra level to keep my body safe, to know who is my farmer, are they the beekeeper, and can I get these questions asked before I buy? Living in Southern California, I actually have avocado honey, and it's a nice dark honey, and I'm going to tell you, it's one of my favorites. It's great in homemade granola. So there we go. Sorry, that is just some of the fun things. So the fear about honey that's being spread, all you got to do is look at an ingredient label and see what's in it. In the comment section are all the ingredient labels that I was able to pull out of the top sellers. I have not seen any honey labels that say what has been reported to being used in honey. And if it's being used and it's not being labeled that way, are there other issues that are they just labeling it natural flavors like they did at Trader Joe's, and that's where those fake honey ingredients are coming in? But Trader Joe's still has lists just honey. So where are those labels? I don't know. I did not see them. So please share with me if you have them. Other than that, thank you so much. I appreciate if you hung out this long. I so appreciate. Please feel free to like, share, comment on the video. Next week, we're going to be talking about the food pyramid, because the food pyramid was dropped in the 90s, and the world embraced a completely different way of looking at food and how to communicate value to citizens. And the pyramid has not been used. So I'm like, it's been a decade. No, it's 2025. Yeah, it's been a couple decades. And then after that, the next week, oh, we're talking maple syrup because everything that was said about honey is actually happening in the syrup aisle. And I will compare those maple syrups to the brand I buy and love compared to um, the brands that you buy in the supermarket. And there we will see all the fake ultra processed syrups. And I will show you what that actually looks like. And that's 2 weeks away. So thank you all for being concerned about what's on your table. If you have questions, concerns, feel free to reach out, drop a line. And if you're curious and you want to learn how to work with me, go to hiddenconsumersconsulting.com and go to my food coaching. It's really a food education program. Coaching helps the logarithms, but it's really food education. I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm going to show you how to pick the best food for your body and for what you're dealing with. And with that, have a great rest of your day. And I